Peace.
Yeah. It's about time somebody do it. You know? Come on. Cause we out here, you know, we doing it. We out here doing the same things that moms is doing.
I'm a good dad.
We gonna do it regardless. This is a dedication to good men and the fathers. Mostly overlooked, I had to do it regardless. They say the majority is lazy. This might be true, but some of us be providing them crazy. Not like we all dogs, men and women, we all gon' fall to the day that we all get called. But back to the subject at hand, some dudes can't be a father, cause they never became a man. And besides those, you got me and a group of others who cherish having a family. And we looking for support. If you believe there's good fathers out here, and not all of us in court, I be cooking, cleaning, up late nights doing the homework, after hours of doing my own work, ready and able. Promise to fulfill my duties as a dad since they cut the
I'm
naval
not just
cable.
a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they try to say, "Daddy, that's my dad." I'm not just a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they try to say, "Daddy, that's my daddy."
And the new father of the year, I'ma keep getting this. I'm a ringer. I already got my speech written since some men get a bad rap. I grabbed my pen, I couldn't have that, and wrote this dad rap for him. I'm in the kitchen checking the grub. When things get hot, I start flipping. I'm just a lion protecting my cubs. I left the clubs in the streets, but my pops say diminish. And them drug dealers know that my block is off limits. So what? Me and wifey broke up. Nah, let me stop fronting. Every time I think of that, I get choked up. In court, we get no luck. And paying child support is like buying tickets to watch them grow up. So ladies, recognize a real man when you see one, cause even the queen gotta live in the kingdom. I'm the boss of them all. When I call, they fall in. Hold on, I think I hear my kids calling.
I'm not
right
just
back.
a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they try to say, "Daddy, that's my dad." I'm not just a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they try to say, "Daddy, that's my daddy." Why you wanna take me to court? And why you wanna raise the support? Is that all you see in me? I wanna show my kids what a man should be. I'm so much more. I'm a man. I give my life, cause that's who I am. To make my kids proud, so they see I'll always be their daddy.
Who would've known what I turned out to be? Unless they knew the fruits don't fall far from the tree. It was sown in me to provide for many. Meeting my fears head on, never hiding from any. Adopted it from my pops. Always worked hard to go the legal route, so I never had to run from cops. I had no idea how many floors pops had to scrub just so I could rock nice gear. A human example, he was my knight in shining armor, and I'm sure that he was just a sample of credible men that ain't never have their name in lights. Would've gave his life to raise me right, introduced me to the church, was there for my first and second birth, even helped me see what I was worth. All you hear is pops is a rolling stone. You seen mine, he was alone.
I'm not just a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they try to say, "Daddy, that's my dad." I'm not just a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they try to say, "Daddy, that's my daddy." My daddy.
This is universal thoughts for all beings, seeing what I'm seeing, so you can realize and recognize how it is.
It started off at 13, breaking all the rules, cutting school or burning up at my brother's school. Not a bona fide money taker yet, but learning fast about all the things that dirt gets. Roaming the streets with my peeps in the evening, creeping, ice pick up my Pacific Trail sleeping. Sometimes just beating people for the hell of it. I'm was so young that getting locked was irrelevant. Getting older fast, taking cash on the street, breaking in mailboxes on the 1st and 15th. And yo, my favorite was the orange box cutter. Just opening it up and scared the shit up out of sucker. Toting shapes and shit, talking about murder. At age 15, I got my very first burner. Now it's time to get it on with society. Quick to click on any punk niggas that be
A
eyeing me.
local bad boy, you who went against the grain, trying to make a little name, got caught up in the game. I didn't recognize I was part of the statistics. Why didn't someone kick the ballistics? So when I turned 16, kid, I thought I knew it all. I followed no man's yo, I made my own call, so I started moving with the click of sick juveniles. We're caught up in the system with rap sheets for mouths. I got drug possession and burglaries. I got A1 felonies with a string of armed robberies. It doesn't matter with too young to do a bid. Doing adult crimes, being charged as a kid. I slid in new directions, I got cash on my mind. 17 now, I need the cream and that's the bottom line. It ain't hard to find, just link up with one of my mans. Someone who's real, somebody who I consider fan. So my man named Shank, he make mad bank. He drive from South Click to New York with fake gas tanks with dope and marijuana. He's mad paid to still live in Gowanus amongst the sharks and piranhas. So I got rid of him, now my pockets looking right until we got stopped one night, jumping on the turnpike, flashing lights is behind us. He said that we'll be fine. Now here they come with a team of trucks sniffing canines. So I guess I never see that condo with 2-car garages. I dropped my head and said I wish I never caught these charges.
Here's for all the brothers who wanna see green, but not green correctional facility.
Yeah.
Just keep your head up and make that cream and duck the man to the best of your ability. They got me caught up. Goddamn, they caught me slipping, got me locked up 5 to 15 for that last shipping. For my mama and my shorty, tell them daddy been naughty. People do the damnest things when they filled with 40s. I'm 21, I'm a man now, so I can stand trial now. Regret living the life of a foul child. Word. Maybe being a nerd would have been cool when I reminisce on school back in the days when I used to break mad school. Now I'm rocking the sale, no bail, who catch and hell fail. You turn up and forget my girl, she ain't sending no mail. They try to play ya, I hang ya, I keep my banger, riding on prison buses, giving judges the middle finger. I blame my father sometimes, should've taught me the math, put me on that old straight path that I'd have known to have. Word to mother, my mama, she tried to teach me. My uncle tried to preach too, but he ain't get through. Me and my commies had street degrees, shirked each other, my brother. There's no honor among thieves, so I participated in the paper chase. It was all a waste, cause now I'm caught up in the wrong place. Crime ruled everything around me. What? Catching charges, mama bail me out now.
A local bad boy, you who went against the grain, trying to make a little name, got caught up in the game. I didn't recognize I was part of the statistics. Why didn't someone kick the ballistics? A local bad boy, you who went against the grain, trying to make a little name, got caught up in the game. I didn't recognize I was part of the statistics. Why didn't someone kick the ballistics? Word up, man. Yo, brothers, man, you gotta recognize the death penalty is alive in 95. These are injections. It's not like the past. Next big boat.
I was despised and rejected, spit on and disrespected, came to my own afflicted. Why didn't they listen to me? The greatest sacrifice no other man could ever give. I gave my life and soul, knowing it would make you live. Spirit was willing, with my flesh I had to overcome. I asked my Father, pass this cup, but I was the only one to do His will, fulfill the scriptures to perfection. Lay down my life in hope of reconciliation. Christ is on His way. Will you be waiting for me? Christ is on His way. Will I find faith in Thee? Christ is on His way. Come to the end of this confusion. Christ is on His way. Establish eternal righteous ruling. Christ is on His way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on His way. Or will I find iniquity? Christ is on His way. I bear the sins of many. Christ is on His way. How could you do this to me? Of all the families on earth, you only have I known my sheep who's lost in this world. To you my love was shown. I came to give repentance, forgiveness of your sins, to be a prince and savior, but you won't let me in. Instead you delivered me unto the enemy with all your blasphemies. How could you do this to me? Stiff-necked and stuck in your ways, you broke the covenant. You only got a few days before I make my judgment. Oh, forgive them, for they know not what they do. What they do, what they do. I will plead with them face to face till I turn them back to you.
Yo, you thought I wasn't coming back? Imagine that, watch the sky crack when I attack. I held back the winds from the four corners. Now you were gonna watch my battle wax get bloody. No one above me to please them to choose me, to bruise me, but nothing could move me. You refused me like you never knew me. I didn't have to do it when I carried your iniquity, your wickedly witchery. And you don't remember me, the whole world watched on my name. They lied, denied that I died, so they pierced my side. Now I will return to burn, to unlearn, but the whole world heard.
Everything I do is for the Lord. If I breathe, I breathe for Christ. If I die for Christ, no matter the price. Understand it. I present my body as a living sacrifice.
That's right.
Repent, for the kingdom of the Lord is at hand. The coming of Yahushua is not. And he prophesied when he was going to be born and died. I hope these cats realize that there ain't much time. First and foremost is Satan host post. Keep your guards up and close with the armor of the Most High. He's not a man that he should lie. I hate when we teach Jake and they walk on by.
Christ is on his way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on his way. Will I find faith in thee? Christ is on his way. Coming to end all this confusion. Christ is on his way. Establish eternal righteous ruling. Christ is on his way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on his way. Or will I find iniquity? Christ is on his way. I bear the sins of many. Christ is on his way. How could you do this to me? Christ is on his way. I'll hear the sound of the storm. Turn up the nations for way. Ain't gonna take this no more. Israel, you better is gonna come out and no sense confusion. Turn up the nations for way. Ain't gonna take this no more. 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 Ain't gonna take this confusion. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna reach us through.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another village meeting. Thank you for being here. Could have been any place, but you chose to be here tonight. I hope your week is going eventful. I hope everything is going okay. And if it's not, don't worry about it. You only got 2 more days before the weekend comes, and you can kind of relax a little bit. So again, thank you guys for being here. We are in the new year, 2021. 2020 was crazy, but now we're here. So before we start and get into the topic, we always go through our mantras and we run through these things because this is what keeps us strong. This is what keeps us focused. So let's run through it. We have 4 hashtags that we deal with in this place, right? In the village, which is no more, be the change, it takes a village, and visitation rights are not for fathers, they are for inmates. So let's deal with the first. No more. Today is the day that you choose, you make a conscious choice to be different. Things are not going to be done the way they were done last year. Things are not going to be done the way they were done yesterday.
Today is the day that you are no longer going to be used, abused. You are going to take accountability. You're going to look into the mirror and say, today is the day I make that change for the better, not for the worst, for the better. Today is the day that I look at that hill and I attack. No more will I be that old person, that old man, that old woman, that old young man, that old young woman. Today is the day that I choose to be a better me, a better version of me. Be the change. We all look in our communities and we all know that there's improvements that can be made. And for some odd reason, we always wait for the haves to make that change. And they hardly do. What they do is they continue to keep the nonsense going on in our neighborhoods. So that change that you want the haves to make, why don't you be that change? You want your neighborhood to be cleaner? Why don't you go out there and start picking up the garbage in front of your building, in front of your apartment, in front of your house? You want your neighborhood to be a little bit more happier? Why don't you go out there and start saying good morning to people? Be that change that you want to see. Don't wait for someone to do it when you can do it. Let's not be lazy. That's one of the key problems that we have in the have-nots community. We're lazy, so we have to stop that. The third is it takes a village. There is no island that a man or a woman can be by themselves. We all need each other. We were never meant to be loners. We're never meant to be hermits. We were meant to be in symbiotic relationships. We were meant to cohabitate with other people. This is the way the good Lord made it. When you're going through your ups and downs, there's always someone there to help you. They can have eyes on something that you can't see or you miss. That person can catch it. If there's something that you need and you may not have, that person in the village would have it. That person in your community would have it. This is the purpose of Christ telling you, forsake ye not the assembly of one another. Getting to know one another. There may be one day you can't get a babysitter. And because your neighbor is part of the village, is part of the family, he or she will say, I'll hold her down or hold him down till you get back. Go handle your business. Go make that money to take care of your family. This is what we're supposed to do for one another. And last and certainly not least, visitation rights are not for fathers. They are for inmates. So let's understand what that means. You have a good man who's a good father, who does everything for his children, but it just so happened that you two didn't work out. Don't make it hard for him to see his children. Don't make it hard for him to be a part of his children's life. You do not want to make a good man a disgruntled man. You do not want this man to look at his child as a bill. That's the worst thing you can do as a parent. You two brought this lovely child or children into this world. It is no longer about you. It is about this child. So both of you are supposed to do your best to make a cohesive environment for this child to flourish in to the best of your ability. So this is what we do. This is what we're supposed to do. Then we slide right over to the AAA, right? Acknowledgement, acceptance, and application. So what does that mean? Acknowledgement, acknowledging that, taking accountability, knowing that the reason why you're in the situation you're in is because of you, not because of anyone else. You made the decision to be where you are. You made the decision to drink, to shoot up, to rob, to steal, whatever your situation is. You made the decision. Stand by it. Stand on your square. It's something to learn from. You made that decision. Because only then can we roll into acceptance. So once you have acknowledged that this is the reason why I'm here, it's because of me. I should have zigged instead of zagged or whatever the situation is. I made a poor judge or a poor decision. I shouldn't have did this. So then you understand that, okay, I accept the situation that I'm in. I accept that I'm going to do 2 years. I accept I'm going to do the year. I accept I'm going to be on probation. I accept whatever situation you're in, because you are no longer blaming anyone else. So now your mind starts to shift in its thought pattern on trying to figure out how to get out, learning the education, learning the tools, gaining the tools to get out of the situation that you're in. And then we move on to the third portion of that, and that's application. So whatever you learned, you apply so that you can get out of the situation that you're in. For all so long, we've been emotional animals. And we need to start being spiritual creatures. Emotional animals do not respond, they react. So what does that mean? That means that they don't think about what they do, they just do it and think about the repercussions later. We have to stop that. We have to get back to being spiritual creatures. We have to get back to thinking about what we're going to do before we do it and calculating what the repercussions of our act will bring. This is what we have to do. Once you make that calculation, remember, it starts with acknowledgement, acceptance, and application. Once you make that thought process and you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and you keep it moving, and you do what you have to do after you ran down what you think the issues might be and what the ramifications for your actions is. So we move on to the truth. Something that a lot of us don't like. That truth is what we call the mirror. That mirror is crazy. If you're going to get on this road and travel it, it is something that is very hard. It's not easy. It is something that it will continuously and constantly be in your face. Now, it is very easy to put down that mirror and just not even focus on it. That's when the truth doesn't matter to you anymore. That's when you start to say, my truth. And I'm sure a lot of people in the village have heard people say, this is my truth. I don't know what that means, because truth is truth. Truth belongs to everyone. There's no such thing as my truth. You can have your story, sure, but there's nothing like my truth. Truth is the truth. So what's the difference between your truth and my truth? We saw the same thing. Truth is not easy. Truth is hard. Truth is hard to listen to. Truth is hard to acknowledge. Truth is hard to accept. And it burns and stings all of us. All of us. But it's the truth. And here's the difference when truth is given in the village. When truth is given in the village, it's given with love. It's wrapped up in love. So it's going to sting. It's going to hurt. But you know you're in a place where people are trying to build you up. People are not coming from a place of trying to hurt you. People are not coming from a place of trying to ridicule you. We're coming from a place that we're trying to build you up. We're trying to get you to that next level. And this is what we do for each other, right? We always say this in the village. Truth given without love is a weapon. I'll say that again. Truth given without love is a weapon. Because now when I tell you something out of anger, there is no holding you after this. There is no consoling you after that. Well, that's why your breath stinks. There is no, well, let me show you how to get past that problem. I'm just throwing it out there and you deal with it. That's not what we do here. That's not what you should do in your personal life. When you're dealing with people that you love, it shouldn't be truth and that's it. It should be truth with love. Okay. Also, way too often when we look at situations and we look at problems that we might have, we always look at it from the sight of a mouse. And that's bad. It's really bad. What we need to do is get that vision of the eagle. And there's a difference why we use these words. These words mean a lot. Words are very important, especially when you get the meaning of it. Vision, you see everything. You see it all. With sight, you see portions of it. So before you make a decision, right? Remember, we're supposed to be thinking. We're supposed to be responding, not reacting. So before you make a decision, the best thing that you can do is try to gather up as much information as you can pertaining to that situation that you're going to be making a decision on, so that you make the best decision for the situation at hand. Don't be so quick. Don't be impatient. That's what a lot of us suffer from, being impatient. We have to not be impatient. So now let's talk about love. This is something that, usually I'll go into, but since I brought up love, let's talk about it. We were talking about it yesterday on Tommy's show about what love is, right? And we all read the virtuous woman in Proverbs 31 and what she does for her family, for her husband. And we read it. And this woman is phenomenal. She is a jewel. She's a gem. She's something that you would never lose. You would cut your right arm before you even thought about losing it. But everything that she is doing is in direct response to something that her husband has done. Love is a reaction to something that is being done, same way hate is, anger. Something has to be done to you for you to be angry, right? And we're talking about people with rationale, because there's some people that can just be angry for no reason. People with common sense that are in our lives. Something has to be done. And then when they do it and you process it in your mind, you're like, okay, I'm upset now. It's the same thing with love. So when you have a father in the home and that father has those children, right? Let's deal with the little girl. And he protects her, he guides her, he nurtures her, validates her, teaches her worth so that she knows what her value is, so she can demand her value, so that she knows what to look for. She knows what pitfalls, she knows where the red flags are. When she understands that love is unconditional, that father has that unconditional love for her, what will she do? She will do anything to please her father, right? She's not going to want to disappoint him. So she's going to go to school, get the good grades, try not to, be noisy in class. That's the same thing. Just broaden it and make it more mature. Women respond. That virtuous woman responded to something. What did she respond to? She responded to the love that her husband was giving her. The nurturing, the guidership, the leadership, the providing. She was responding to that. And in her response, Proverbs 31. So let's understand that love isn't something you just wake up and, he got you tea this morning, or, she gave you good sex and that's love. That's not love, bro. It's infatuation. That's lust. It's not love. Okay. So now that we got past that, welcome to another meeting, the first meeting in 2021. We had our first Testimony Friday, and welcome. Thank you guys for being here. Raja, Anthony, Amani, Mark. Thank you guys for being here. Shah, thank you. And all those that are just in the background listening. So let's talk about what today's topic is, because definitely, it's something that we suffer from and we need to get past. But before we do that, I got to put this before I get flagged, because for some reason they like to flag us, guys. So let me put this up, get this out the way, and we won't get flagged. Disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Word. So with that being said, let's understand what's going on, right? So acknowledgement to the part we play in our depression. We need to talk about it. It's definitely something that we need to talk about. But the one thing that before we get into the videos, what I really want to talk about is the thumbnail. The thumbnail said, when you blame others, you give up your power to grow. When you blame others, you give up your power to grow. Now, what does that mean? That means that all those nuggets, right? Like what we talk about here in the village also. There's a lot of cliches that we have here in the village that helps us to work through our everyday life. So one of them is failure is not a failure if you learn those gems, those nuggets on why you failed. It's not a failure. It was a learning curve. It was a learning process, because now you will never fail in that way again. Doesn't mean you're not going to fail. What it means is you won't fail like that. So when you blame others, you give up your power to grow. You're not learning from your failure. Because when you're blaming someone, obviously something happened. You're not learning from what went on. You're not going through the pieces and the bits of that situation so that you can understand what happened, so that now you become a better version of yourself. You become a better man, a better woman. You learn. You learn. It is way too easy, because I've had conversations with several people, and everyone has a different perspective on it. But like we say, truth is truth. It doesn't belong to nobody. Truth is what it is. We can't fight truth. So when you blame others, you give up the power. You give up that right to grow. You're not learning from your issues. You're not learning, why did I mess up? Why did that situation happen? What can I do so that this thing doesn't happen again? What can I do so that I don't fail like this again? This is what we're supposed to learn from our fails, from our issues, from our broken relationships. This is what we're supposed to learn. Why did my relationship go left? So before we get into the video, I just want to touch on the different perspectives on how you can grow good or you can grow bad. So what does that mean? That means, let's talk about men first, because we are supposed to be the head of the household, right? We are supposed to be the ones that, are the examples. My man Roger says we got to stand before the Lord and give account of ourselves. This is true. So you get hurt by a woman. You are what we call in these YouTube streets, and what, there's certain words that you're going to hear, red pill, blue pill, simp. You're going to hear these cliches. You were one of those guys that we, quote unquote, my air quotes are up, a simp, okay, for lack of a better word. You were a weakling. You were a yes man. You were a dude that had no backbone. So you were that younger. When you were a younger man, you grow up, get a little money. Now you that dude. Now you ain't taking no shorts. Here's the key. Did you learn from it? At your failures? Did you become a better version of yourself? You have a lot of men running around that have made themselves better men in the aspect of they probably grew up impoverished and now they have money, but they still are hurt young children, young men. They're still hurt. You can hear from the conversations that they have. You can hear from the way they speak, right? So we have conversations where men want to be treated a certain way when it comes to dealing with their significant other, dealing with their woman. Men want to be different. Men want to be treated like men. They want to be treated like the king of the castle. They want to be treated like this. They want to be treated like that. But we just spoke about that comes with a price, right? You can force that flower's petals open, or you can do what you need to do to let that flower open up on its own. I guarantee you, if you do the latter, the reward is much sweeter than it is if you force it open. So you go to these third world countries where these women are living broke, poor, have no money, and they see you, an Americano, popping it off. Come there, you that dude. Don't get it twisted. She doesn't love you. She's in love with that facade, that veneer that you're portraying. Yeah, sure, you're gaining a taste of what a man is supposed to be treated as, right? You're supposed to be the head of household. You're looking at a submissive woman. You're looking at a woman that knows her place. Why does she know her place? Why is she giving that to you? Is it because she loves you? Or is it because there's a quid pro quo here? You have money. She wants some of it. So she's selling you a dream. See, you didn't learn the lesson. When everybody was in that marathon, you took that cab. That's the problem. There is no shortcuts in this game of life. There is none. You may see the answer a little bit later in your life, but there is no shortcuts. Learning how to be a man, it's not easy. Especially when you don't have a father in the home, especially when a lot of our men are incarcerated. It's hard. It's very hard. But I'll give you some of the key things that a man should be. You should have a moral code. You should have a standard. You should have respect, admiration. You should be patient. You should be strong. You should stand on your word. These are a few things. Now imagine if you had those moral codes along with the money. Now that woman's going to love you for you, not for what you bring, not for what you have. There's a difference between a wife that loves you for what you do as a man, as a husband, than what you do financially. Because when you bring that woman from that third world over to this place here, with all the flashing lights, there is always someone else that has more money than you. And because the love that you gave her, or you thought you gave her, or the treatment that she was giving you, it wasn't rooted in love. It was rooted in that bread. When someone else flashes more money than you, on to the next. On to the next. So what we want to teach these young men, these young brothers right now, is this. To every action, there's an equal reaction. Okay? If you're in a relationship and your woman is disrespecting you, and you're 40 years in, now I'm being a little bit more specific, and you're 40 years into this relationship, you got a problem. The problem ain't the woman. Now let me unpack that. Yes, per se, she is a problem because she has not been taught her place and understanding what her place is in the relationship. Not to be disrespectful to our husband. To be submissive, excuse me. No, she hasn't been taught that. But here's the big thing here. You haven't taken that stand to know what your worth is so you can demand your value. because you can't beat your woman if she's not listening. But damn it, you could walk out. See, a lot of us men, we're afraid to lose what we have, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, you get into a relationship, and 40 years later, she's still disrespecting you and still emasculating you. Then there's no one to blame but your damn self. There's no one to blame but you. Why do I say that? Because you could have walked out. That disrespect didn't start yesterday. You in the relationship 40 years, on the 39th anniversary, the next day she's starting to emasculate you. No, it didn't start that way. When you seen those red flags, you should have left. You should have left. But maybe the cooch was good. And you was like, nah, I'm a chill. Maybe she was a dime piece, and you felt that I can't get another woman like this. So you gotta sleep in the bed you made. Now, you're gonna say, but Bola, hold on, but what about her? We gonna deal with her, but right now we talking to you. That's our problem. Our problem is we always want to be focused on the other person. We don't want to be focused on ourselves on the hot seat. Don't worry about her. She's on the hot seat. She's gonna get hers. She is unhappy. She's not happy in a relationship. That's not a relationship. That's a dictatorship. The main issue in this situation is you're not happy. You're not happy. So why did you subject yourself to this for 40 years and blame her? This is where growth comes, man. This is where when you blame other people, you don't learn those jewels and those nuggets that you need to understand from that situation. You're not going to learn from it because you didn't set your mind up. You didn't acknowledge it's my fault that I'm here. You didn't acknowledge that. Now, when you deal with that woman on her end, miserable, not happy, doesn't want to be by herself. Misery loves company. Not happy with herself. When she looks in the mirror, she sees someone that she hates. That's a bad thing. It's a real bad thing. So there's always two parts to this coin. You can either learn right or learn wrong. And let me give you this cliche too. This belongs to Bolo. So if anyone steals it, because I'll tell you, I'll steal a cliche in a heartbeat if it sounds good. Just let the people know where you got it from. Practice doesn't make perfect. I know we've heard that all our lives. Perfect practice makes perfect, because you can practice something wrong. I'll say it again. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, because you can practice something wrong. And when you practice something wrong, it just becomes a habit. It becomes second nature. That's what it becomes. So this is why when you have that village, they can tell you you're doing that wrong. Come here, young blood. Let me show you what it is to be a man, right? You could walk around with all that machismo, but that don't make you a man. It's not a man. That's a wounded animal. We can see right past that. That dude that buys all the stuff and all that. Got no game. All he does is just flashes the money. Same thing with the chick. Her self-esteem is in the ground. So that's why she puts all the makeup and all the hair and all of this and all of that, because she has no self-esteem. None whatsoever. So what we want to do is we want to learn correctly, build ourselves and make the better versions of ourselves correctly. And the only way we can do that is by taking accountability for our part in the situation. Let me say that again. Taking accountability for our part in whatever situation that we're in. Everyone played a part. Everyone. I'm talking to you specifically. So if I'm talking to one of my 4 children and all of them had a part in the situation, I am going to find out what happened in the situation, what each and every child did, and then compartmentalize the situation and deal with each child for what they did in this situation. I'm not going to be general. I'm going to be specific. And this is what we need to start doing. Acknowledgement to the part we play in our own depression. Don't think that just because you got money, that now that you are a better version of yourself financially, that you're a better version of yourself. You're not. All you did was put up a better fence. And don't get it twisted. There are women out there that will hop over that fence in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. You have to look, isolate your issues, and fix them. You have a leak in the house, you got to fix it, my man. Putting that little plastic thing, I forget what they call it, on the TV when my man is in the boat and he makes it. That's just something temporary. That ain't something permanent. It's temporary. So what you do is, when you get that leak and it's in the middle of the rain, so temporary fixes you have to do, right? No one's going to get on top of the roof and stay up there for 45 minutes to an hour trying to fix what we need to fix the roof in the rain. It's not going to happen. We get that. We understand it. So what you're going to do is get that temporary fix, put it there, and when it stops raining, when you get past that hurt, when you get past that crying, because it's okay to cry, man. We're men. We're not robots. We bleed. When you get past that, now you can sit back and go, okay, what part did I play in this situation? How did I not see that coming? Was she always like this? Hell, did I turn her into this? Was she like this, or did I turn her into this? Those are the two choices. There are no other ones. Was she like this, or did I turn her into it? If she was like that, then my man, you need to really take those glasses off and clean them. Because there was a whole bunch of red flags that you could have seen that you chose not to acknowledge. No one gets the blame for that but you. Now, if you turned it into that, then you have to be a better version of yourself and learn how to be a better man and how to treat your significant other. Stop forcing the petals of that rose, that flower, that lily, whatever your favorite flower is, stop forcing it open. Let them give it to you willingly. That's power. That's power. Power isn't when I come into the room and take it. Power is when you willingly give it. So y'all want to talk about game? That's game. That's game. That's the game the Most High wants you to have. To stand on your square and be the man that he wants you to be, so that when you do meet that woman and you sit there, she gives it to you willingly. So the verse video we're going to watch is about, well, everything is about, taking responsibility on your situation, taking responsibility and ownership for what you did or what you've done. And this goes for man, woman, child, whatever. This isn't specific. Okay? This is about taking ownership of what you do, taking ownership, not blaming everyone, not saying it's because of him or it's because of her. No, it's because of you. You played a part, G. Because the situation that you're in, you're not learning from it if you continue to blame people for it. No one put a gun to your head to get this chick pregnant. You knew she was a hood rat. You knew what she was. You knew she was slick with the tongue. You knew what it was, but the cooch was good. Cool. I got you. I understand. But you got her pregnant. Now you got to deal with that. Now you got to deal with that. So put on your, take that H, put it on your chest and handle it. Don't make the same mistake. Learn from that mistake. Learn from that mistake. Don't think you're going to go to these third world countries and get these chicks and don't think that they not gangsters too. Women are gangsters, dog. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted, bro. When you operate in truth, you'll see all of it. From a mile away, you'll have that eagle's vision. If you don't correct the flaws that are in you, because the hell with her at this point, I'm messed up. So before I can pay your phone bill, I got to pay mine. It's like what they say when you're in the airplane. When those gas masks fall down, put yours on first before you try to help anybody else. Because if you pass out, it's you don't help anybody. You both die. So let me get myself right. So now, by me getting myself right, I will make better choices in picking a woman, or if you're a woman, in picking a man. You will make better choices. You will know what your worth is so you can demand your value. Don't think because you put on those high heels and you throw on the eyelashes and you put the lipstick on that you're still not the same person. You are. You're still that fragile, low self-esteem woman. You ain't no better. Veneer. It starts from the inside, then out. Inside out. That's what we're trying to do here. Work on you from the inside out. That's what we're trying to do. Acknowledgement to the part we play in our own depression. Because when we don't look and deal with the problem that we have, we don't grow. And there is no comfortability in growth. Let me say that again. There is no comfortability in growth. There isn't. Because you're always going into something different. You're always seeing a better side of yourself. You're going into things that you never thought you can go into, right? So there is no comfortability in growth. Once you get to where you need to be, it's time to move on to that next level. Let's move on. Let's not be too comfortable. And I understand that things, in our lives, things happen and we get scared. And we talk about that too here, paralysis of analysis, right? You get so over analytical of it that you're just stuck. And that opportunity, as quickly as it opens, is just as quickly as it closes. Life is about taking chances at times, man. It is. Because you don't know if this man really is who he says he is. You don't know if this woman is who she says she is. So this is why when you know what you want and you know what you need and you know what you're bringing to the table, you know what to look for. And it's so crazy that when we buy sneakers, when we buy cars, when we buy homes, when we know what to look for. We'll get a damn inspector to help us understand what we should be looking for in a home. But when it comes to our relationships, we don't do that. We look for the quick fix when it comes to our relationships. But everything else in our lives, we'll make sure that diamond that he bought me, I'm going to make sure I go to the jeweler and appraise it and make sure, girl, that it's worth what they say it's worth. And then what does he do? That diamond that he bought, he's going to make sure he insure it. He's going to make sure he's going to take that diamond, bring it to another place, have them inspect it, make sure he's getting what the first store said he's buying. Why don't we do that with our relationships? Why do we say, damn, you know what? My relationship ended bad. What part did I play in that relationship? Breaking up like that. What part did I play? If any. I'm not saying you did. You may not have. But you didn't give it a thought. You just moved on. You made that money. Let me go over to Cuba. Or let me go over to Venezuela. Go get one of these chicks that's going to treat me like a king. Because she's broke. She don't know you from a can of paint. But you sitting there, you the man. You know what I'm saying? You got she got that big ass leaf. And she's putting the little, she fanning you with that big leaf. You the man. In high school, you was the man, homie. You that dude. She don't know you only make 50 grand a year. She don't know that. You know 50 grand is good here in America. You're in that 25 percentile. Right? You popping it off. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Shorty, I'm that dude, kid. You didn't look into her eyes and show her what a man is. You ain't look into her eyes. You ain't massage her spirit. Know what I'm saying? You didn't get into the nooks and crannies of her soul. You ain't do that. You just showed off the bread. Which is, if that's what you do, that's what you do. It's cool. Now, you breed her. She has a child for you. But remember, you still never, word up, 129th Street. You know what I'm saying? You didn't build with her. You didn't give her that understanding. You didn't do that. You ain't do none of that. So now when you bring her to the States, woo-wee, and she's flying over the rotten apple, and she's seeing them lights that never go off. What? Man. Remember, she still, think you that you the man, homie. Then she starts seeing them dudes that drive the Bentleys, that drive the Rolls Royces, the Wraiths, and all of this. And she's like, yo, nah, G. Nah. Thank you. But hola. I'm out. Who's to blame for that? She is? So you still don't understand. You still got the brain of a simp. That's what you got. You still got the mind frame of a simp. You still moving like a simp. You would have blamed for that. You would have blamed because you didn't learn from your problems. You didn't fortify your garrison. You didn't rectify your trajectory. What you did was you put veneer. You went up there and put that plastic. And thinking that when the next storm comes, that plastic is going to cover. Nah, it don't work that way, my brother. It doesn't work that way. And the same thing goes for women. There's always going to be a prettier chick than you. Always. There's always going to be a badder shorty than you. Always. There's always going to be a dude that got more money than you. Always. Don't let that be the basis of your relationship. Money and beauty. Now, I understand that they both play a part. Don't get it twisted. I understand that. Don't let that be the foundation. That should not be the foundation. That's the point that I'm trying to make to you. That shouldn't be the foundation. You should grow from your failures. Grow from your failures, man. Learn from your failure, because then it's not a failure, because you know what? You'll never do it again. And you'll be a better man or a better woman. You know, when he told me, I should have been more sweet, I should have been more feminine. Ladies, men don't want men. I mean, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But we're talking about straight men and straight women. They don't want another man. They want to feel something soft. They want to hear something soft. They want to know that there's a distinctive difference between the two. They don't need you, I'm saying, shen guys out there in the streets and my girls is bugging out. They don't want to hear that. Now, if you're a man, you like to hear that, I'm not talking to you. If that's what you prefer and that's what you like, then cool. That's for you. I'm talking to those men that don't like that. Those men that are grown, Those men that can take their woman to any environment and leave her and know that she's going to behave, that she's going to flourish in that environment. She will not embarrass you. That's who I'm talking to. Because there are some men that like women like that. Cool. Don't put the shoe on if it don't fit. Cool. This is what we're talking about, something that fit. This is not for everybody. This truth isn't for everyone. Many are called. Many people are going to come in and sit and watch this movie. Some people are not going to like it. Some people are going to say, yo, you know what? I don't like this flick, and keep it pushing. And that's okay. That's all right. You like what you like. You know, but understand, truth is truth. Understand it. To every action is a reaction, right? So if your relationship is based off what you're providing only, then understand, if she sees someone that provides more, then her eyes might shift a different way. There's got to be more to your relationship than just bread. Unless you're going to leave her in Cuba or leave her and you just visit, then you that dude, then continue doing it like that. But here's the thing. When them other guys come down there to visit, yo, man, there's many different parts to this moving. There's so many moving parts to this, man. There's so many moving parts. You measure twice and cut once. Do it the correct way. We're going to fail. That's life. Learn from your failures. Learn where you messed up. You zigged? Cool. The next time I'm going to zag. I'm not going to mess up like that no more. Right? So let's go into this video.
Devastating and evil. War is hell. But war is also an incredible teacher, a brutal teacher. And it teaches you lessons that you will not forget.
So let's translate that war. Relationships. You as a man, you as a woman, you warring with yourself inside. That depression, that issue, that trauma, that PTSD. I don't need to go overseas to have PTSD. You not wanting to deal with your situation. You not acknowledging that you have a problem. You wanting to ignore. Cool if that's what you choose to do, but you're not going to learn from it. Experience is the best teacher. You get no better. So although you hurt, although you're broken, although you're bruised, take that time while you're bedridden to think about the mistakes that you made and the part you played. This is how we get past depression. By putting blame, solving our situations. No one wants to blame the young brother, but if the young brother is the reason why this happened, then put the blame on the young brother. Closing chapters in your life doesn't mean that everything is going to go the way you want it to go. When you close a chapter in your life, it doesn't mean that it's going to be happy. It just means that those demons in that chapter are not going to come back for you because you solved it. You learned from it. So the demons won't come at you. There was a young brother that I was counseling, and he had problems with the decisions that he made with his children. And it was eating him up to the point where he wanted to take his life. When we went back and revisited, and don't get it twisted, it was hurtful. I cried with the brother. Right? It's like going into a virtual reality room. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been in, put those virtual goggles on, but it's crazy. look at your situation, right? Like that. You put those goggles on, and both of us go into it. We sit down, and we inspect every facet, every part of that situation, of what you could have done, what you did do, and that's how you become a better person out of it. Because if you do not inspect, like, you know, when they have that explosion, like if something blows up and the FBI comes in and they take every piece and everything and they try to reconstruct the situation, right? If you don't do that, then you're not going to learn everything you can learn. And then when you go to sleep at night, that's when them demons are going to come. You weren't a good father. You weren't a good mother. You could have did something different. You could have did this. You could have did that. So when you do investigate, when you do go into that virtual room in that situation that you were in, and you inspect every facet of that room, now when you walk out, you'll say, damn, I know where I messed up. So now when that demon comes, you weren't, I know. But check this out. It'll never happen again. I promise you that. That demon got to leave. He can't torment you no more because you've taken accountability for your part in the situation.
In war, you are forced to see humanity at its absolute worst. And you are also blessed to see humanity in its most glorious moments.
So let's translate that into a relationship. You get with this chick, and I'm speaking from the man's perspective, and it can go vice versa. My voice is low. Is this better? Is that better? And can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is that better? Oh, you said the video is low. Well, I got it up as high as I can, brother. Hold on. Let me see what I can do. Hold on.
At its absolute worst. And you are also blessed to see humanity in its most glorious moments.
So what he's talking about is in your relationship, you know, you haven't really gone through nothing heavy, haven't gone through nothing really hard, you know. It's been good. You know, you went over to that third world country and you massaged your soul, massaged your temple, massaged your spirit. You were candid. Listen, you know, I'm trying to bring you back to the States. I'm not the richest dude on the earth. I'm gonna let you know that. And I'm not gonna even portray that. But what I can tell you is my commitment to you. No other man can give. And she believed you. Her petals opened willingly. So now when you hit that hard times, here's where the glorious times comes now. Now you're going to see how she reacts. Because relationships are not tested in good times, they tested in bad times. And because you put that work in, because you learned from your previous relationships what not to do, because you thought that what you did was right, but then when you go back into that virtual room to look at the situation, you say, damn, nah, I shouldn't have did that. I should have left. I should have went left. Now what you start to learn is, okay, and then when you see in the situation where you're on the ground, have nothing, shorty right there next to you. I'm not going no place. That's the virtuous wife, brother. That's the virtuous wife. You put the work in. There are no people perfect for each other. Let me say that again. If you're looking for that perfect woman, she's not out there. If you're looking for that perfect man, he's not out there. So stop looking. You make your significant other perfect for you, because everyone's wants and needs are differently. It's different. Excuse me. It's different. So when you two grow together, you understand each other. When you grow together, you understand each other.
War teaches you about sorrow and loss and pain. And it teaches you about the preciousness and the fragility of human life. And in that fragility, war teaches you about death.
Better understand what he's talking about. You better understand what he's talking about. You're trying to learn. You're trying to understand. You're trying to grow. That's what we're doing here. She says she can't hear it. Let me see if I can. What's the name? Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Can you hear it now? Tell me if you can hear it now.
But war is also an incredible teacher.
Press 1 if you can hear that. Press 1 if you can hear it.
And it teaches you lessons that you will not forget. In war, you are forced to see humanity at its absolute worst. And you are also blessed to see humanity in its most glorious moments.
The video is low. Hold on. Let me take it. Let me come out of it and then come back in. Hold on. Is it low now? Tell me if it's low now.
War teaches you about sorrow and loss and pain. And it teaches you about the preciousness and the fragility of human life.
You can hear it now? And you can hear it now? Playful, you can hear it now? She said low. Answer still low. Is it so low that you can't hear it at all? Because I don't know what it is, man. You know, this StreamYards thing, man, is hit or miss with it. Is it so low that you can't hear it at all? Roger said he can't hear it at all. Good God. Said he can barely hear it. Man, the devil's alive, man. Y'all killing me. Let's see what I can do here. Let me see. The volume is all the way up. Okay. Tell me if you can hear this. Tell me if you can hear it now. Hold on.
War is awful.
Can you hear it now?
It is indifferent and devastating and evil. War is hell. But war is also an incredible teacher, a brutal teacher.
I'm definitely gonna need y'all to work with me, man. I apologize because over here it's extremely loud, and I have no clue on why it is so low. Hold on, let me try something. Let me take off the headphones and play through the speakers and see if that changes it. Hold on.
And it teaches you lessons that you will not forget.
Can you hear it now?
In war,
Can you hear? Does that sound any better? Can you hear it now? Can you hear it
you are
now?
forced to see humanity
That's better?
at its absolute worst.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start the video over. All right. I apologize for that. So I'm going to take the headphones off and I'm just going to rock the speakers. Okay. So here we go.
It is war is a nightmare. War is awful. It is indifferent and devastating and evil. War is hell. But war is also an incredible teacher, a brutal teacher. And it teaches you lessons that you will not forget. In war, you are forced to see humanity at its absolute worst. And you are also blessed to see humanity in its most glorious moments. War teaches you about sorrow and loss and pain. And it teaches you about the preciousness and the fragility of human life.
So what is he talking about, right? So that also can be talking about you in a relationship. You had a good woman, but you weren't a good man. You had a good man, but you weren't a good woman. And you lost him. You lost him. So in that moment in war, you're in war now. Do you learn from it? Or do you just say, because those that fail to plan to fail. When you don't find out why this situation blew up, when you don't find out, it's the same thing in anything and everything in your life. If you do not find out why it ended the way it did, why did you get fired the way you did? Why did your business go down the way it did? If you do not find out why, those jewels, that information, that one to grow on, you never get. Why? Because you didn't take the time to learn from it. What the hell is going on here? You didn't take the time to learn from it. Hold on. I think I did the wrong thing. Hold on, man. Why is it doing that? Hold on, guys.
And you are also blessed.
I'm trying to understand why we're going through this. Hold on. does it keep doing this? Hey, that message, man, don't want you to get it, man. All right. Hold on one second. Cool. Why does it keep showing that? All right. It should not be showing this. That's, I tell you, the enemy, brother, does not want you guys to get the information. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it now. There we go. So, taking ownership, understanding what you need to learn from the problems that you're going through. You're going to have these. Sitting down. You know, the one thing that Anthony and I speak about a lot, you know, the one thing with prayer, the most important part of prayer is being patient and waiting for that answer. We're so impatient. I want it right now. I didn't play the part. I don't learn. Life is about learning, becoming a better version of who you are. Today saying no more. No more will I be that old man that I was yesterday. I'm going to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. It's about taking one step forward. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon.
To see humanity in its most glorious moments. War teaches you about sorrow and loss and pain. And it teaches you about the preciousness and the fragility.
So you have to learn that preciousness, right? You learn about how important, how good of a woman you had, how good of a man you had, and what you did and what part you played in losing that significant other. That's what learning ownership. You're not giving the enemy any way or any hole to creep in to make you any more depressed than what you are already. Depression comes from us not wanting and not willing to deal with that trauma that has hurt us so bad.
Of human life. And in that fragility, war teaches you about death. But war also teaches you about brotherhood and honor.
So in that situation that you broke up with that woman, you broke up with that man, you learn. Was the breakup about honor? Were you an honorable man? Were you an honorable woman? Did you do some nonsense that that man found out about and decided just to leave? Were you not submissive? Did you not play your part? Were you not a man of honor? Did you not lead? Did you not protect? Did you not guide? Did you not nurture? These are the things you learn. These are the things that you have to sit there and actually sit into that virtual room, go in that virtual room and sit down and ask yourself. And be that third party, be that fly on the wall. And see, damn, you know what? I was an a-hole. I was. I treated her this way. I wasn't a-hole. I treated him this way. All he wanted was just to hear me say, I appreciate you. And I wouldn't do that. I would down him. I would ridicule him. This is what we're supposed to learn from. This is what we're supposed to take and become better versions of ourselves. This is what we're supposed to do, but we're not doing it. We're going further and further into this rabbit hole.
And humility and leadership. And unfortunately, war teaches you the most when things go wrong.
Exactly.
And for me, one of the most impactful lessons that I learned from war was in the spring of 2006.
And you better understand what war is. War doesn't necessarily mean going out there to Iraq or Fallujah. There's war in your home. There's war in the streets. There's war with your family. There's war in yourself. I forget the name of the author, but he said, to thine own self be true. Mark Twain, maybe? I could be wrong. But I know someone will correct me in the village. To thine own self be true. What did that mean? You can lie to everybody else. You can't lie to yourself, man. You can lie to everybody else. At least be truthful with you. Don't lie to yourself. You know you ain't about that life. So if you're going to portray yourself about being about in that life, then whatever comes with it, comes with it. And at least acknowledge that. At least acknowledge that. 6ix9ine wasn't about that street life. He wasn't about it. He was a kid that wanted to be down with someone he's probably picked on when he was younger. He had a little talent because of the type of rap that he was doing. You know, kind of like that rock rap, kind of something like what forget the Onyx was doing. So he got down with a clique. The clique should have kept him isolated from what they were doing. They should have kept him isolated. But they didn't. They let him in. So you can't get mad when he snitches. He wasn't about that life. He wasn't about it. So you got to accept the part that you played in it. You can't lie to yourself. To thine own self be true. So whatever you're doing out there, to thine own self be true, man. Don't lie to yourself, because the Father see everything you're doing. Don't think you fooling anybody. Don't think you tricking anybody. You ain't. You're not. Hamlet, thank you, brother. So when you get hurt by the women here because they see money, and you go to that third world country and you pop it, and you go out there, you the dude, we them boys, to thine own self be true, man. Yeah, they're going to treat you like the king you are or the king you claim to be. But if you don't root that relationship in truth, in the Most High, in love, true love, it's a give and take. Love is a give and take situation. You expect reciprocity in love. When you read Proverbs 31 about the virtuous woman, her reciprocity to the love that she was getting from her husband is what she did. Don't think she would do that for a wicked man. She wouldn't. She's going to do the bare minimum just to keep him off her back. When you have a woman that loves you, they'll give you the earth, the stars. I don't get it wrong. They're flawed, same as us. We're flawed too. But we have to be that example. We can only be accountable for what we do. So if your woman is disrespectful, don't do a 30-year bid with her. If you see the red flags, get out, man. Get out. Same thing with women. If your man is a batter and he's punching you in your mouth 3 months into the relationship, it ain't going to get no better. Get out before he takes your life.
In the city of Ramadi, Iraq, which at the time was the epicenter of the insurgency, where brutal and determined terrorists ruled the streets with torture and rape and murder.
I want to read a scripture for you guys, man, and give you an understanding of what the Lord is telling you. This is Proverbs chapter 24. Proverbs chapter 24. Write it down. It says, "Be not thou envious against evil men." Don't be like them. Don't envy them. Don't want to be like them. Yeah, they got the money. All them chicks are around them, but it's not love. Because as soon as that money's gone, they're gone too. Neither desire to be with them. For their heart studieth destruction. That's what their heart studies. There's no good ending for them. There's no foundation between that man and woman. It's just money. And their lips talk of mischief. Now, this is the part that I want you guys to understand. Through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established. So wisdom is the cornerstone, right? Every house or every building has a cornerstone. That's the foundation of how this building is built, right? And what is understanding? Understanding is the beauty, the life, the roof of the home. It covers it, keeps it fortified, keeps it warm, keeps it dry. Verse 5. And knowledge shall be the chambers, be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. And knowledge is the beauty in the home, the life, you know, the furniture and all these things. So this is how you get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's what this is. Verse 5. A wise man is strong. Yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. Okay? Remember what the knowledge is. The knowledge is the beauty in the home. Okay? For by, this is the most important thing. Verse 6. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war. Counsel. Going to talk to people. People that are better than you. If I'm an alcoholic, man, I'm not talking to other alcoholics. Unless they beat it. Unless they're where I want to be. I'm not going to be in the mud and I'm going to tell you, yo, Duke, man, you know, how do we climb out of here? You stuck just like I am. So you're going to talk to people that are well financed, that do good with money. Why? Because they're going to give you advice, because obviously they're doing well with money. I'm not going to talk to my girlfriend who doesn't have a man about man problems. The only thing she can teach me is how not to lose a man. She's not going to teach me how to keep one. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in a multitude of counselors there is safety. There's the village. Because not only am I going to get counsel from the men, I'm going to get counsel from the women. So what do you think about this? Tell me, you know, give me your position. I want vision. So I'm going to look at both sides of it so that I can make the right decision. I want vision, not sight, vision. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and a multitude of counselors there is safety. Verse 7. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. Wisdom don't deal with those dudes, man. So you can either learn from your situation and become a better version of yourself, or continue making the same mistake. 65 years old, acting like you a player. You got to lay down your hat, man. You got to lay your hat down. It's a young man's sport. You got to know when to retire. You don't want to be that dude that's just so in the sport, still in basketball, and you're in your garbage. You're making your team lose. You got to know when to lay your hat down. You got to know when to fold. You have to. So learn from your situations. You're only hurting yourself. You're not hurting anyone else but the people around you, the people that love you, but mostly yourself. Because understand this, and it hurts me to say because I think about this too. Time don't stop for no man. You die, they move on. I don't care how much your woman says, I'm never going to get another man. She's lying to you, dog. I don't care how much your man say, I'm not going to get another woman. He's lying to you. So be truthful. Understand love. While you here, be truthful to yourself. Learn all you can learn. Jedi says, wisdom directs and protects people who used to abuse. This is where they make excuses to play victim. Yeah. There's wisdom, but they're not getting the understanding. They're not getting that knowledge of why it failed. Why did your business fail? Yeah, you had the wisdom to build it, but now you need to get the knowledge and understanding so that now when you do rebuild, it doesn't fall the same way it fell before. Not learning from your same situation and thinking that it's going to be different, that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing and expecting different results. It doesn't work that way. But I want you to listen to how this man is speaking. He's speaking from hurt. He's speaking from going over it and over it and over it. Because it's easy to say someone else did it. Listen.
And it was in one neighborhood of that city during an operation that I was in charge of when all hell broke loose. We had multiple units out on the battlefield fighting the enemy. We had friendly Iraqi soldiers. We had U.S. Army soldiers and U.S. Marines, along with small elements of my SEAL team. And then the fog of war rolled in with its confusion and chaos and mayhem and with its gunfire.
Now that fog can be your people, your friends, your family. It could be them. You listening to everybody. You listening, you hearing everyone else's words. You're not listening for the truth. You listening to everyone that's going to fluff your ego and say that you're not the problem. You're not the issue. That's what you're looking for. You're being selective with your understanding. You're being selective with your going through your situation. You're not taking all the facts. So when you go to that third world country and get that chick, that's what you're doing. Yeah, you know, the chick mouth was dirty, you know, the chick mouth, whatever, you know, she wasn't submissive. You go over there. But did you contribute anything? You picked that chick, remember, dogs? You picked her. She didn't pick you. You picked her. So you didn't know what you was looking for. So you just want a perfect woman to fall out of a tree and just say, master. It don't work that way. No. See, the one thing that the Lord demands is obedience. Because we're his children. We're his children. Submitting is something that a woman has to do willingly. Obedience follows, but it starts with submission. She has to willingly want to do this. That goes back to opening those petals. So you can either work for all your life or hit the lottery and just pimp it up and just do your thing and don't. Yeah, but is she really down for you? Is she really going to ride for you? Is she really there for you? Is she going to wipe your ass if you get into an accident? That's true love. Why? Because of the way you treated her, her response to you is, I don't care what your situation is. If I got to wipe your ass, that's what I'm going to do. Think on that the next time you go to this third world country to go pick up a chick and go bag one. Think about that.
An enemy attacks, and screaming men and blood and death. And in that fog of war, through a series of mistakes and human error and poor judgment and Murphy's Law and just plain bad luck, a horrendous firefight broke out. But this firefight, it wasn't between us and the enemy. This firefight, tragically, was between us and us.
So a lot of the times, and this goes for both men and women, you can have that trauma. You can have that situation that has happened in your life. And instead of dealing with it, you suppress it. And those demons come out. And you lash out at the nearest person to you. And that person is your man or that person is your woman. You lash out. Jedi, hell yeah. He says the biggest enemy is in me. That's why the Lord tells you, if you can't get your house in order, you can't get mine in order. You start getting your house in order by getting yourself in order. All those scary parts of your life, of your psyche, of your innards, yeah. You got to go through them. Got to go through them. But here's the beauty in this. You got the village. You ain't by yourself. You here with family. You're here with people that love you. You're here with people that's going to say, dogs, you are bugging. Now, it doesn't justify what she did. No, she was wrong. But me, myself, I like dealing with the root. The hell with the branches. Let's deal with the root. You were the root. You were in that 40-year relationship. You knew what she was about. 2 years in, she's disrespecting you. 2 years in, she's emasculating you. Why did you stay 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 25, 35, 40? Why did you stay? Why? That's my question to you. Why did you stay? You had every chance to make a decision, every chance to leave. And this goes for women. Why did you stay? You knew this man was a dope boy. You knew this man had mental problems. Why did you bring him into your home? Why? He says, as a former soldier, I know what he's saying. That's the worst thing that can ever happen. to fire on friendlies. That's the worst thing that could ever happen. But the point of the matter is we have to take accountability. That is the mantra tonight. Acknowledgement. Yeah, you know, you're going to want to blow off steam. I get it. We all do. You were in a, relationship. It was crazy. You just want to be waited on hand and foot. I get it. But is it true? Is it real? Is it truth? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness. Is it truth? This woman don't know you for nothing. She's willing to give you everything. Think about that. You haven't earned it. Think about that. Is that something you really want? I didn't earn it, but it's given, but it's being given to me. That would scare me, man. Because I know when I earn something and it's given to me. Hell yeah. Roger says, if you stay, that's what you accept, especially when God is real and still responds to those who love him. 100%. 100%. Now, again, I'm not saying that, the ridicule that she gives you or the battering that he gives you is not his fault. Why do you stay? You have choices. Everyone has choices. It may not be the choice you like. May not be the choice you like. You may lose a little bit. But my G, the most important thing to me in life, and I see that when I counsel people and I tell them this, peace of mind. Without peace of mind, what do you have? If you cannot calm your own mind, you have nothing. This is why people who can't generate that love inside of them run to people that are not good for them because they want to feel loved and they can't generate it within themselves. So they run to other people who they know is not good for them. But that's the only person that's willing to give them that love. This is why parents, good fathers and good mothers are so important. To thine own self be true.
Friendly forces against friendly forces. Fratricide. The mortal sin of combat. And the most horrific part of war. And when it was over, and the fog of war lifted, one friendly Iraqi soldier was dead.
When all your family is gone, there's no one else. Remember, the Lord tells you in the scriptures, right? There's no judgment higher than your own. There is none. Because no matter how much advice you get, no matter how much counsel you get, at the end, you have to make that choice and live on it. So if I have to make that choice and live on it, why wouldn't I want to get all the information that I can to have that vision, that panoramic view, so I can make the best decision I can for the situation that I'm in? When you choose to have that mouse's sight, when you choose to only see 6 inches from a 50-foot print, that's on you. You could have left that woman or you could have left that man a long time ago. You chose to stay. Don't blame her. Don't blame him. Blame yourself. Look in the mirror. I know it's hard to blame you. It's easy to blame somebody else. But here's the thing in you making it easy for yourself. You don't learn from the mistakes that you made, and you're bound to make those mistakes again. That's the problem. That's what you give up when you blame someone else. That's what you give up when you don't take acknowledgement for the part that we play in our depression. When we don't sit there and say, this is what I did, but you blame it on everyone else. What you could learn from it, you don't learn. You don't grow. You stay stagnant.
2 more were wounded. One of my men was wounded. The rest of my SEALs were badly shaken. And it was only through a miracle that no one else was killed. And it was reported up the chain of command what had happened. That we had fought and wounded and killed each other. And when we got back to base, things didn't get much better. There was a message waiting for me from my commanding officer. And it said, shut down all operations. It said that the commanding officer, the master chief, and the investigating officer were inbound to my location. And they told me to prepare a debrief to explain exactly what had happened on the operation and what had gone wrong.
Your relationship is broken up. Going through a divorce. Everyone's pointing fingers. You're in front of the judge. Doing all this stuff. Now you got to explain yourself. Now, the night before you got to actually go in, you're thinking, what happened? Damn it, what happened? This is what people of truth do. Now, if you're not about truth, I get it. What happened in my relationship? Why did it go the way it went? Why would she talk to me so? Why would this man beat me? I've been in 3 relationships, and all 3 relationships, these dudes beat me. Can't be them. It's you. Your vibe attracts your tribe. There's something about you that attracts men that are abusers. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Can't be about these women that disrespect you. Something about you that attract women that disrespect you. You got to go in there, rewire, fix, rebuild, bring back. There's nothing wrong with taking 2 steps back to take 10 forward. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to live your life. And I'm going to show you something. Everyone sees that you're a hurt man. You're a hurt woman. In the way that you speak, in the way you move, the way you act, the way you talk. I see it. Don't think women don't see it neither. Don't think they don't see it. Don't think men don't see it. Men see when you have create a new motherboard in the mind. Don't think that men don't see that you have low self-esteem. That's why they keep picking on you. Tanya said it. The one common denominator in every relationship is you. You got to rebuild. You got to revamp. Put that curtain on, under construction. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Now, I knew what this meant. It meant that somebody had to pay. It meant that somebody had to be held accountable. It meant that somebody had to get fired for what had happened. So, I began to prepare my debrief. And in it, I detailed every mistake that was made and who made it. And I pointed out every failure in the planning and the preparation and the execution in the operation. And I pointed out who was responsible for that failure. There was plenty of blame to go around.
I want you to let's unpack that. He was detailed, very specific on who did what went where, who messed up. And then on top of that, what did he say? There's plenty of blame to go around, man. There's plenty of it to go around. Plenty of it. Jedi Master says, if you don't learn from the past history, you're doomed to repeat it. Hell yeah. So he did that. He went through his mind's eye and went through it. This relationship. Who did what? What did she do? What did she contribute? What did I do? What did the mother do? What did the father do? What did my friends contribute? He did all of that. Listen.
There were so many people that I could incriminate with guilt. But something wasn't right. For some reason, I just couldn't put my finger on who was at fault and who specifically I should blame for what had happened. And I sat and I went over it again and again, and I struggled for an answer. And
that's truth. He sat and struggled because it was easy for him to put blame on anybody else. He sat and struggled because something didn't seem right. Why did this happen? Why was this allowed to go down? Why did that go down?
And then when I was about 10 minutes from starting the debrief, that answer came and it hit me like a slap in the face. And I realized that there was only one person to blame for the confusion, only one person to blame for the wounded men, and only one person to blame for the dead Iraqi soldier. And I knew exactly who that person was. And with that knowledge, I walked into the debriefing room with my commanding officer and the master chief and the investigating officer were sitting there waiting for me along with the rest of my men, including my SEAL that had been wounded, who was sitting in the back of the room with his head and his face all bandaged up.
You walk into that room, you see your kids, see the family, see everybody. You pissed off and you're angry.
And I stood up before them and I asked them one simple question. Whose fault was this? One of my SEALs raised his hand and he said it was my fault. I didn't keep control of the Iraqi soldiers I was with, and they left their designated sector, and that was the root of all these problems. And I said, no, it wasn't your fault. And then another SEAL raised his hand and said it was my fault. I didn't pass our location over the radio fast enough, so no one knew what building we were in, and that's what caused all this confusion. It was my fault. And I said, no, it wasn't your fault either.
The beauty in that and what you're seeing is everyone is taking accountability for what they did. Everyone is acknowledging the part that they played into that fiasco that happened that night in 2006. Everyone. No one is saying it was his fault, their fault. This is what I did. Truth. I didn't, hold down that corner the way I should have, and someone got past the sights. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. It was my fault. Listen.
And then another SEAL raised his hand and he said, boss, this was my fault. I didn't properly identify my target, and I shot and killed that friendly Iraqi soldier. This was my fault. And I said, no, this wasn't your fault either.
So that woman says to you, and we're going to get to the woman on the other side. That woman says to you, it was my fault. I was disrespecting you. I wasn't honoring you. I didn't submit to you. It's my fault. If you're dealing with a woman of truth, a woman of truth.
And it wasn't yours or yours or yours, I said as I pointed to the rest of the SEALs in the room. And then I told them that there was only one person at fault for what had happened. There was only one person to blame. And that person was me.
Nah, it wasn't your fault, baby. It was my fault. You know why? If the head is sick, the body is sick. Me being head of household, I should have put you in order. And if I couldn't get you in order, I should have left the situation. I chose to stay in this situation for 40 damn years. It's not your fault. It's mine. My job is to get my home in order. Any man that stays in a situation like that, he's not in order of himself. He has no dignity. He has no respect. His self-esteem is hurt. Because when you know what you're worth, you're going to demand your value. Let me say it again. When you know what you're worth, you're going to demand your value. And you're going to say, hell no. I know what I'm worth. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let you talk to me the way you talking to me. That ain't happening here. So either two things are going to happen. Either you're going to curb your mouth and change, or you can leave. Jedi says accepting responsibility is the first sign of great leadership. You're the head. You're the head. The easy thing to do is go someplace and bag up a shorty that you didn't invest nothing in. We're not just talking money. And from the woman's perspective, she's put here for us to lead. Now, that doesn't justify her acting the way she acts. Hell no, it doesn't. And so often here in America, they don't get treated with the full impact of responsibility of what they do the way we do. For example, a male teacher sleeps with a student. He goes to jail, under the ground, under the jail. Same thing happens vice versa. A woman sleeps with a student. They don't throw the book at her. She starts to cry. She starts to talk about the way she was brought up. Hell, there was a situation where she put the kid on child support. Another situation. 2 15-year-olds, children, both sleep together, man and woman, 15-year-old children. Girl gets pregnant. The man is demonized. The young man is demonized, but they're both children. She's the victim. He's the predator. She's the prey. So it is definitely, the pendulum definitely swings on the side of women here in this world. This is why you have so many brothers talking the way they talk. This is why you have so many brothers talking the way they talk, because of how hard the pendulum swings. Because women do not take responsibility for what they do. Because this world does not hold your feet to the fire the way it holds men's feet to the fire. You get away with everything. We don't. Especially if you claim to be equal. Now, I don't have a problem if you say I'm the weaker vessel. I don't have a problem if you're saying I'm the weaker one. But when you say that I'm equal to you, and I can do everything you can do, hell, I can do it better, then you should be held to the same moral code and moral standard that I'm held to. Regardless, even if you say that you're the weaker vessel, morally, you should still be held to the same moral standards that I'm held to. Because that has nothing to do with physical strength. It has a lot to do with truth and character. But you're not held to the same moral code. You're not. This is why men act the way they act. This is why men treat women the way they do. Especially men of means. This is why they do. So we want to change this thing. We want to change this cycle. Right? Latanya says they look at women as weak, and that's why women get over, because they use that to their advantage. This is true. They use the system. They use the system. My thing is they need to take accountability. Jedi says Jesus and the Father is one, but the Father is greater than the Son. Yeah, but here we're dealing with a whole different battle. Here, we're talking about the USA under Satan's authority. They do not operate by the rules and regulations that the Bible operates by, right? So here, women are above men. There's a systematic attack on masculinity. The point of what I'm trying to say is, brothers, men, and when I say brothers, I don't just mean black, Asian, Indonesian, whatever the hell you are. You have to make better decisions. You have to make better decisions, not just based around money. It's not just based around money. It's based around knowing who you are. Right? I don't have to go overseas to know how I should be treated. Now, again, experience is the best teacher. There's nothing better than it. Nothing. But if you know what your worth is, you can demand the value. You could demand it. If I know what I'm worth, I'm not taking nothing less than this. Because you know what the worth is. But this is the thing. Knowing your worth comes with knowing how to open up that flower, how to open up that petal. There's a lot of things that come with being men, man. That's why we tell you youngins, don't be so quick to rush to want to be an adult, man. Learn everything that you can learn as a young man. Learn everything, or as much as you can learn. Because it's hard in these streets, bro. It's hard. It's hard being responsible for everyone under your roof. It's hard. It's not easy. Ultimately, you take responsibility for everything because it's your house. You're the head. When the general comes to see the captain, he ain't coming to see the lieutenant. He's coming to see why did everything fall apart. He's coming to the captain. You're the captain. God didn't come when Eve ate the fruit. God came when Adam ate the fruit. He's the head. You're the head. So make wiser choices in the women you get with. Understand the only way you can make that choice in woman, a good woman, is knowing what a good woman is. Understand that you can go to these other countries and these women will treat you like the Prince of Abu Dhabi. And you'll be like, damn, this is what it feels like. Cool. I get it. I get it. But they're treating you like that because they see what you're bringing. Right? It's the financial means. It's what they see. There's a different world when you get it willingly. It's a different world, brother. And you women, y'all got to start learning how to live by your word. You can't, it's crazy how you want to be equal to us when things are good, but soon as things get out of whack, I'm a woman. You slap the man in his face. You've been claiming that you're equal all your life. You slap him in his mouth. He tells you stop. You slap and slap and slap him. He tells you stop. Soon as he protects himself and slaps you back, you shouldn't be hitting a woman. Hold on. You're the only gender that does that. You're equal, and then you can pick when you're not. I'm weaker than you. It doesn't work that way. To every action is a reaction. You're going to put your hands on a man, get ready to get treated like one. This is why I tell my daughters, don't argue with no man. As long as he don't put his hands on you, walk away. You will never be able to physically beat a man. Walk away. There's no need in arguing. Walk away. I don't care what he says. As long as he doesn't touch you, you're good. You have to learn what a man is, what a good man looks like. And it starts by you having self-esteem and knowing what you're worth. It's the same thing. It goes both ways. You could put all that makeup on, put on the high heels, do all these things sexually. But why is he with you? Does he trust you? Does he love you? Or is it because you just good cooch? That's the difference. So you can learn this and have a relationship with that quid pro quo where both of you are given something and it's not based in truth, it's not based on the knowledge and wisdom of the Most High. Sure, you could do that. If that's what you want, cool. If that floats your boat, do your thing. Here's the thing. God forbid you get into an accident and he needs to wipe your ass. Is he going to do that? No, he's not. So just understand what we're dealing with. At this, there's a lot of reconstructing that we have to do on both ends. A lot.
I am the commander. I am the senior man on the battlefield.
I am the head. I am the father. I am the king.
And I am responsible for everything that happens.
I'm responsible for everything that goes down in this house. So she's to blame. Really. You want to be the king, but then when it comes for the king to put his head on the guillotine, you're going to say her. Doesn't work that way. Roger says, I was messing with my wife today, and she jokingly said, I'm going to fight you. I said, why would you do that? What do you think will happen? And she said, I would lose. Nice. But look at what he's demanding. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to what the man is saying. He's taken full acknowledgement and responsibility for the part that he played. For the part that he played. That doesn't excuse her for what she did. I'm taking accountability for what I did. It's like I said, when I'm interrogating my children because all four of them did some nonsense in the house, I'm interrogating. I don't want to hear what the other one did. I want to know what you did. What part did you play in this? And I'll just go on down the line accordingly and deal with everyone according to what they did. Because if you start pointing fingers at everybody else, that means that what you did was worse. You don't want to tell me what you did. And that's snitching, because at the end of the day, all of y'all were doing it together. So now you don't want to tell me what you did, but you want to tell me what she did?
I am the commander. I am the senior man on the battlefield, and I am responsible for everything that happens.
Everything. General Norman Schwarzkopf said a true leader does these two things: take charge, accept responsibility. That's it is what it is. Jedi, you on point like a sniper tonight. It is what it is. We don't like it. We don't want it. And if you don't want that kind of responsibility, then stay single. Stay the player. You don't want that kind of responsibility. And I get it. Not everyone is built for it.
Everything. And then I went on to explain to them some new tactics, techniques, and procedures that we were going to implement to ensure that this kind of travesty never happened again.
So now, after everyone in the home says the kids take their part, The wife takes her part. And then I say, I'm glad that all of you guys took responsibility for what you did. I'm the head of this house, so I take full responsibility for everything that you did. Because I allowed it to happen. Because when I married my wife, she takes my last name. I don't take hers. She's my glory. I'm not hers. So these are the new tactics that we're going to do. This is what's going down in this crib now. We're not doing this no more. You put your foot down. Either two things are going to happen. Either they're going to flow with it or they're not. Now, speaking from the man's perspective, if they don't flow with it, then you have a decision to make. We'll get to that part.
And I will tell you something. It hurt. It hurt my ego. It hurt my pride to take the blame.
It hurts you because you're the head. It hurts. It hurts when you're over there, you know, when you're in these other countries, or you don't even have to go on these countries. You can find these chicks here. When you find these chicks that are willing to sit here and deal with you because you got the bread or whatever, you're not feeling it now. But here's the thing you can't run away from is yourself. When you realize it, man, I know this chick ain't wanting me for me. She want me for the bread I got, what I can offer her. It hurts when you sit there and you take accountability for what you did, the part you played, the part you allowed as men. It hurts. See, in this world as men, we don't have that much power. The only power we have is walking away. It's the only power we got. Now, understand, we have the ultimate power in Christ. That's not what, let's not go there. I'm talking about as far as actions physically here on this earth on what we can do. If they choose not to follow in righteousness, there's not too much you can do. The only thing you can do is walk away. You have to be willing to lose it all or gain it all, man. That's what this is about. Can't be afraid. And I understand it's easier said than done. I get it. Believe me. Believe me. I understand. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. But it can be done. It says a lot about your character when you're willing to start over. It says a lot about who you are. It says a lot about what you're going to take and what you're not going to take. It says a lot about your character. It says a lot about the backbone that you have and what you believe in and how you should be treated. It says a lot. Jedi says, my pastor told me, you look down the street, I see around the corner. Men must see around the corner if you want to lead the family. 100%. But we're talking about just you and yourself. Starting over teaches you a lot about who you are as a person, whether you're a man or a woman. It shows you how strong you are to yourself, what you can do, how much you can persevere. It makes you a stronger person, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
But I also knew that to maintain my integrity as a leader and as a man, I knew that to maintain my integrity as a leader and as a man, I had to take responsibility. And in order to do that, I had to control my ego so that my ego did not control me.
Boom. As a leader, as a man, I had to take responsibility. Ego is a hell of a thing. Ego is a hell of a thing. You know, so when you, women, let me give you some advice. When you're dealing with these men of means, you better check that I'm a woman, hear me roar at the door. Check it. Because if you're dealing with a dude of means and he's not a righteous dude, then maybe that might float. You know, you might, just check your mouth or whatever. And that's what it is. When you're dealing with the man of truth, he gonna get into your soul, into your spirit. He gonna see what you really are. Can't fool him. It's the same thing with the woman. When a woman is dealing with the spirit, she gonna get into the mind and soul of that man and see you for who you really are. You ain't that man that you claim to be. You just a man with bread. So I'm gonna treat you accordingly. You're not deserving of my petals opening fully. Let me explain something to you, man. There's nothing like a woman that submits willingly to her man. Good God. Let me say that again. There's nothing like a woman that submits to her man. When she knows she has a good dude in truth that provides, leads, guides, and nurtures. There's nothing she wouldn't do. And there's nothing like a dude that knows what kind of woman he got, that virtuous woman. There's nothing he wouldn't do. It's a tandem dance. And understand, with all of this going on, the children are watching. So that example is what they're going to measure every relationship they get into out in the world with.
And you know what? I didn't get fired. In fact, my commanding officer, who had expected excuses and finger pointing, when I took responsibility, when I took ownership, he now trusted me even more.
That's what happens with your woman. That's what happens with your man. When she sits there and she says, yo, you know what, man, it was my bad. You know, I haven't been that woman that you needed. I was supposed to be that woman, that wife, or that pillar of rest. And I was actually a pillar of stress to you. I'm sorry. I see the error of my ways. And as of today, no more. As of today, I'm not going to let my past relationship move me in how I'm dealing with my new relationship. I know what I've done. Now, he might say, well, what are you confessing to? Emasculating you, not revering you, not giving you reverence, not appreciating you, not giving you the love you should and deserve. Oh my God. I know now. Now, he may say, I'm glad you came to me and told me all this, but thank you, but I got to move on. But hell, at least you as a woman learned for the next man how to treat him. And you as a man, you said, because I didn't get these things, I knew what my worth was. I know what I put in. I know what I did. I didn't get the reciprocity that was owed to me. So, thank you for taking accountability for what you've done, but I'm out. I'm jumping off this train. And you have every right to do so. That's because you saw the red flags. You didn't procrastinate like we so often do. I forget who said that up in the chat. 40 years, that's a lot of procrastination, baby. It's a lot. It's hard for me to see pity. I understand it. Paralysis of analysis, man. You like, damn, man, I gotta go out there and date again. Yeah. Or stay single, become a eunuch. You have choices. May not be the choices you like, may not be the choices you want, but you have choices. All I'm saying to you is there's a plethora of things that you can be. I'm just giving you the right to understand in truth what you could be and what you should be. There's not that many good men out there. There's not that many good women. But when the two meet, you talk about powerful couples.
And my men, they didn't lose respect for me. Instead, they realized that I would never shirk responsibility, and I would never pass that heavy burden of command down the chain and onto them.
How do you think your family looks at you when the Lord comes around and says, okay, talk to me. Why was this house in shambles? Why was this house in shambles? And you blame her. She blames the kids. How do you think the kids and the family going to look at you? Now, again, everyone takes the blame. Everyone takes the part. But you being head of household, you being the king, you want that responsibility. You want that notoriety. It comes with responsibilities, man. It comes with responsibilities. And you got to understand that. Can't escape it. Can't escape it.
And you know what? They had the same attitude. Unlike a team where no one takes ownership of the problems and therefore the problems never get solved, with us, everyone took ownership of their mistakes.
And that's the point. Everyone took ownership of the part they played in the fiasco. You're going to take ownership of the whole thing because you're the head. It just is what it is. It comes with it comes with it. But everybody under you said, I know you took responsibility for the store not working, but your dogs. It was my bad because I didn't clean or mop the floor. I didn't do that. Cashier, I was slipping. I didn't make sure that, we had the night's count was right. It was always off. Everybody took accountability as a team. No one left anyone hanging. Everyone took accountability. That builds camaraderie. That builds trust. That builds love. Most of all, that builds that village.
Everyone took ownership of the problems. And when a team takes ownership of its problems, the problems get solved.
That's the point. That's the point. When we see someone having a problem and we care about said person, our job is to tell that person the truth, not egg that person on to continue in their folly. Because the Lord is going to count that person's blood on us. Our job is to tell them the truth in love. Bro, you got a problem, man. You have a big problem. Sis, you got a problem. You're delusional. Bro, you bugging the hell out. Stop putting your hands on your woman. Sis, you got to stop doing what you're doing. You got to put a better situation for your children. And, it's your job in love is to tell them the truth. Help them. Don't egg them on. This is when situations get solved. This is when problems get solved. When everybody puts their eye on something and handles it. Stop egging them on, man, because the Lord sees it all, and you're going to have to answer for it. We all are. There's nothing that he does not see, and there's nothing that we're not going to have to answer for. Just keep that in mind when you're doing that.
And that is true on the battlefield, it is true in business, and it is true in life. So I say, take ownership. Take extreme ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Get control of your ego.
Get control of your ego. Because your ego, what it can do is it can hamper you, if that's a word. It can keep you from learning what you need to learn from that failure. It can keep you from becoming a better version of yourself. Your ego. That goes for men and women. Yeah, you're a good-looking chick, but you're a bad wife. Yeah. Yeah, you got bread, but you're a bad husband. Okay, why am I a bad wife? Let me figure out how. Why? So I can work on that. Why am I a bad husband? Let me figure that out. Become a better version of you, because you got to live with you.
Don't hide your delicate pride from the truth.
And that's always the point of this. Your delicate pride becomes fortified when you put truth to it. That delicate pride can make you so sick. So it's always about truth, man. It's always about truth. When we do here in the village, we give you truth with love, man. That's why we come here. Because we love you guys. We love each other.
Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad. Take ownership of your mistakes, take ownership of your shortfalls, take ownership of your problems, and then take ownership of the solutions that will get those problems solved.
Acknowledgement, acceptance, application. Take ownership of acknowledgement. I'm the reason why I'm here. Take ownership of acceptance. I'm in this situation because of what I've done. And from there, learning how to get out of that situation, apply it. Take ownership of your problems and solutions.
Take ownership of your mission. Take ownership of your job, of your team, of your future,
of your family, of yourself.
And take ownership of your life. And lead. Lead. Lead yourself and your team and the people in your life. Lead them all to victory. Thank you.
That's taking ownership. One last video we're going to watch before we call it a night is on depression, what it looks like, how we can fight it. And I'm working on a one-on-one, in the near future, where we could talk to people about depression, people that deal with it, people that are in, that live in it. In other words, they work with it. They see it out in the streets, for parents on what we can do to become better parents and understanding what's going on around us and understanding how to cope and what mechanisms and what things we can do to become better facilitators in understanding how this depression can creep up. Because it's no joke. It takes a lot of lives. So it takes a lot for us to bring you this information. It takes a lot out of us. So please, don't take this time that you're listening to this information for granted. Don't take it for granted. Don't take this information for granted. Don't do it. Learn from it. Become a better version of you. Help take it. Apply it. Whatever fits, take it and put it on. Whatever doesn't, leave it on the store floor. But we're here to help each other. Here we go. We're not done yet, Jedi. Last video.
Also worth noting in all this is that in many cases, depression is associated with an apparently opposite mood, a kind of euphoric state termed mania, hence the term manic depressive. The mania in question looks from a distance a bit like happiness, just like depression can look like sadness.
So, so you have some people, that are so happy. So we got to look out for those people that seem happy, but are not. Those people that are always in the middle of everything. Sometimes, a lot of times in situations, they're depressed. They're very depressed. So I'm linking these two together because a lot of the times that can be us and not know. We dismiss it so much that we not know, right? We don't know. So those of you around that have people like that, or one of your friends like that, talk to them. Please.
But in one area in particular, the relationship between mania and happiness is identical to that between depression and sadness. The common element is a disavowed self-knowledge. In mania, one is euphoric, but cannot go into one's own deep mind and discover its bitter truths, which explains one of the leading characteristics of manic people, their habit of being in flight from themselves, talking too much about nothing, over-exercising, drinking, working continuously, or spending too much.
The main part to take from that is working against themselves, working not to be around themselves. Like, remember what we told you earlier, right? These people, they don't want to be by themselves. They want to be around people all the time because they're unhappy with who they are as a person. Our jobs is to talk to them. Our jobs is to get to know them. We need to talk them off that cliff because there's just so many places that people with mental illness, depression, PTSD, all this, there's so many places that they can hide mentally before they take their life. So we have to sit them down delicately and help them to acknowledge the parts that they play, unwillingly, the parts that they play in their own depression. Unwillingly, not knowing. We have to do this, especially for our children. I remember Lyric gave us a number of children that died last year, and I think in a quarter. Could be wrong, but it was over 8,000. 8,000 children, young adults, hung themselves, shot themselves, took pills, committed suicide. The purpose of this channel, the purpose of the village, is so that it doesn't become your child, your nephew, your cousin, your uncle. I don't know what it feels like to lose a child to suicide. But I know it has to be dreadful on the parents, on the siblings, on the family. So let's start being more aware. Let's stop being self-absorbed. I'm not telling you not to have no fun. Come on. But just keep your eyes open.
All as an escape from a submerged grief, rage, or loss. It is from this kind of diagnosis that a suggested cure emerges. What people in depression need above all is a chance to arrive at insight.
That's what we need. We need to acknowledge the parts that we played in our depression. Insight. That's what we need. In this situation, we don't need vision. Insight is we need to be more specific. We need to be 6 inches from this situation. We need to understand what's going on. I don't need that panoramic view. I need to be specific on the trauma that caused me to get into this depressive state and how to solve it.
For this, they will tend to need a hugely supportive and patient listener.
This is why we need to be patient. I'm still working on being patient. Still working on that, being a patient listener. Jedi says, as a teacher, I lost a student who hung herself because of her mother's rejection. Here's the crazy thing. Can you imagine if the young lady, my condolences to her and the family, right? Can you imagine if she left that in the letter? My God. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. We need this. We need to start paying attention to each other. You know, we always talk about prayer. If anyone needs prayer, or if you need anyone in your family to be prayed for, this is our spiritual power. This is what we're supposed to be using. Prayer to give us strength, health, understanding, and to keep our enemies away. So if you need anyone that needs to be prayed for, put their name in the chat as we go through this video. Okay? If you need anyone that needs to be prayed for, put their name in the chat.
They may also, used appropriately, benefit from temporary use of medication to lift their mood just enough so that they can endure a conversation. But the assumption isn't that brain chemistry is where the problem either begins or ends. The despair is caused by an undigested, unknown, and unresolved trauma.
So that's what he's saying. The reason why they go through that depression is because there's a trauma that has been unresolved. Our job as family, our job as counselors, our job as brothers, our job as sisters, fathers, mothers, is to help them come to that realization of where their trauma is and come to a close to what that trauma has done to them. And whatever they need to go through emotionally, we need to let them go through it.
Also, far from needing to be taken through reasons to trust that life is beautiful, depressives must be allowed to feel and to remember specific damage, and to be granted a fundamental sense of the legitimacy of their emotions.
They have to understand what it is. They have the right to feel. They have the right to hurt. They have the right to be angry. They have to understand that. They have the right to feel this way.
They need to be allowed to be angry and for the anger to settle on the right, awkward targets. The goal in treating...
So what are the right awkward targets? Awkward targets, you know, putting blame on the father is not awkward. We get the blame a lot. Awkward targets. Your mother. we need to put the blame on those awkward targets.
Depression is to move a sufferer from feeling limitlessly despairing to mourning the loss of something in particular. The last 20 years, a marriage, a hope one would be loved by one's father, a career. However agonizing the insight and mourning might be, these must always be preferable to allowing loss to contaminate the totality of one's perspective. There are plenty of dreadful things in every life, which is why it's wholly normal to feel sad on a regular basis. But there are also always a sufficient number of things that remain beautiful and hopeful, so long as one's been allowed to understand and know one's pain and anger, and adequately mourn one's losses.
So we have to give them that chance, right? The only way they can understand that there's something brighter on the other side is when they know that there's something brighter on the other side. Let me say that again. The only time they can understand that there's something brighter on the other side is when they know something brighter is on the other side.
I want to know yourself.
So, that being said, so what do we do in closing? We spoke about a lot. There's a lot to unpack here, right? That you have to learn from the truth. You can't hide yourself from the truth. You can't fake yourself from the truth. You have to learn from the truth. There are jewels in our failures that we have to go back and learn from. As hurting, as traumatic as it might be, we need to do that. We need to start taking accountability for what we do, how we move, how we speak, how we act, and what our response is to certain things that happen, both on the male side and the female side. We have to learn to separate ourselves from situations that are not healthy for us. We need to start doing this. Now, again, if you guys need Bibles, we are offering Bibles free of charge. We will send it out to you. Just email me at bolotv16@gmail.com. Let me know what your name is in the village. Everything stays confidential as far as your address and all that, because I need to know where to send it to. If you need counseling, bolotv16@gmail.com. It works, man. You know, we're here for each other. Love each other. That's what we're here to do. So again, if you need any prayer for anybody in your family, we ask you put their name in the chat. If not, we're going to go to it. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds. I'll give you a couple of seconds to get your names in there if you don't have them. It's all good. We'll still put you in the prayer anyway. So I hope tonight was inciting. I hope that you guys learn, take from it. Be that light in your neighborhood. Be that light. You know, be that change that you want to see. Be that change that you want to see. Please. All right. Anthony, what's going on, my brother, man? Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Jedi, Playful. I know I saw Imani in here. Shah, Raja, Alexandria, Dale, Raja. Thank you all for being here, man. Thank you. LaTanya, thank you guys. I appreciate you. This is why we do it. You know, we do it because we love each other. We found a place where we can come together, cry together, and be with each other. So, that being said, let's get into the Psalms. We're going to be reading Psalms 19. And it reads, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech, no language, where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the end of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgment of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey, and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back the servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the from the great transgression. Let the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Lord God, we ask you, we beg you to please forgive us of our sins. For we are not worthy of your love, your mercy, your grace, but yet you give it. We ask you, Lord God, we beg you, Lord God, to please give us your strength in time of weakness. Give us your faith in time of doubt. Help us to understand what love is, what pure love is, God. We ask you, Lord Jesus, to please protect all military people out there. Please bring them home safely. We ask you, Lord God, to please protect all first responders. We ask you, Lord God, to please give all those travel mercy. We also ask you, Lord God, to please protect all those from this COVID-19 or whatever is out there that is ravishing your people. We ask you, Lord God, to please encamp your angels around our homes, around our families, around our loved ones, around ourselves. We ask you, Lord God, to please keep Steve and Anthony's home strong. Keep their family strong. Encamp your angels around Lyric and her family, around Margaret, Derek, Donna, and Grant. We ask you, Lord God, to please give strength to Alex. Keep her strong. We ask you, Lord God, to please protect Yeshaya. Give him strength. And all those that we did not mention, please give them strength, wisdom, understanding to know the wiles of Satan and to understand what his game is and to stay away from it. We ask you, Lord God, to please, most of all, help us to understand your truth. Please wrap your love around us, your mercy and your grace. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So with that being said, and I know I'm going to hear it from Anthony. I didn't record it yet. I know I'm going to hear it from you, brother. I'm definitely going to have it recorded by Friday. We're going to go into these numbers. All right, so here we go. Let me get this up. Do this here, do that. Share this. Go back to that. So here we go. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 800-273-8255. 800-273-8255. If you can't afford therapy, they'll help you and direct you in the right way to get therapy. Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America.org for those young men and young women that need mentorship. Tuesday's Children, they deal directly with military families, exclusively directly with military families. The National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, NAMI.org. Their phone number is 800-950-6264. 800-950-6264. Or in a crisis, you can text NAMI to 741-741. NAMI to 741-741. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, their national hotline is 800-662-4357. 662-4357. Is free, confidential, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year treatment, referral, and information services in English and Spanish for individuals and families, mental and or substance use disorders. The National Association for Children of Alcoholics, 888-554-2627. 888-554-2627. National Association for Children of Alcoholics. The National Drug Helpline, 844-289-0879. 844-289-2879. drughelpline.org. They're open 24 hours, 7 days a week for drug and alcohol help. The National Parent Helpline, 855-427-2736. 855-427-2736. The National Domestic Violence Hotline for men and women. Don't be ashamed, men. 800-799-7233. 800-799-7233. The hotline.org is their website. The National Child Abuse Hotline, 800-422-4453. 800-422-4453. Childhelp.org is dedicated to the prevention of child abuse, serving the U.S. and Canada. The hotline is staffed with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with professional crisis counselors who, through interpreters, provide assistance in over 170 languages. The hotline offers crisis intervention information and refers to thousands of emergency social services and support resources. All calls are confidential. Or you can text 800-422-4453. 800-422-4453. Last and certainly not least, the National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline, 888-373-7888. The number again, 888-373-7888. The National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline. Okay, with that being said, thank you so much, guys, for being here tonight. Thank you so much. See you guys Testimony Fridays, Lord willing, if he allows us to be there, allows me to wake up. Take care of yourselves, man, and take care of each other. Thank you all for being here tonight, man. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Let's spread the word, man, while we can still get this information out. Let's spread the word because it's going to be taken from us soon. Let's spread the word. Let's spread this love. Let's spread this understanding. So everyone bring someone next week, all right, if you can. Definitely. Thank you so much. Love yourselves and love each other. Thank you again. Good night and love you. Love you too, Aunt.